Bob and Ram. Nobody asks, but we give you our opinions. Acknowledge us like Roman Reigns to all his minions. Coming from the grave like our name was Undertaker. Women's wrestling is cool, but where the hell is Britt Baker? Coherence takes abandon all hope. We talk shit like Ricochet from the top rope. We are marks, sometimes we're friendly. Sometimes we show our whole ass like Mandy. We are discussing what is the latest. Jericho is the GOAT, but Sid is our favorite. We are marks. We are marks.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's the We Are Marks podcast. Why? Because we are Marks. My name is Ram. I will be your host this evening. Rob and Bob, what's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, America?
How's everybody doing out there?
I should probably clarify that though it is Wednesday, these episodes continue to be released on Friday, so mind the gap, okay? Mind the gap. Guys, there's a lot of shit happening in wrestling this week. A lot of shit we need to talk about. Even though the shows themselves weren't all that good, a lot of things did happen. So we are going to break it down, and of course we're going to have to start it out with the Royal Rumble, which took place this past Saturday in Saudi Arabia. Thank you for that. I guess it bears in mention that the show opened with Michael Cole telling us it was a sellout crowd of 25,000. As it's panning through the crowd, and it sure looked like 60% of that stadium was empty.
Yeah, it definitely was. In fact, I'm pretty sure after the Women's Royal Rumble, they told everybody to go to the hard side of the camera because anytime there weren't on the hard side of the camera, there was nobody over there at all. Like, it looked like for every person that was there, there was 5 seats right next to them that were empty.
Yeah, it was funny, too, because they kept doing the normal camera shots as if the place was packed. And, I mean, I know there's been some pictures that the place was – more people were there than it looked like. But from an optics standpoint, I thought that was one of the worst wrestling shows I've seen in a very long time. It looked like no one was there, and it kind of sounded like no one was there at times. Not your typical WWE show. Those
dumbass yellow lights, man. I like a lot of those seats were empty. You can't sit here and tell me that they weren't empty, but a lot of those seats that looked empty weren't empty because of those stupid yellow lights, and you couldn't really tell unless the light hit at the right angle that you could actually see there was a person in that seat. It's very interesting. I don't know who designed that. I know they put it up in like 2 weeks or something, which is insane to me.
And it's already torn down.
Are you kidding? Yeah. They built it just for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
God damn, Saudi Arabia's got money to dispose of, I guess.
Hopefully it passed inspections.
Well, that's what I was thinking, the structural integrity on that. I mean, I can't imagine especially considering they couldn't have put too much work into it, considering they just tore it back immediately after.
I mean, they just built the tallest, fastest roller coaster in the world in like 6 months, so they have technology to do this, apparently.
They have something to do it, that's for sure. All right, guys, well, let's get into the Royal Rumble. It started out with the Women's Royal Rumble, which was won by Liv Morgan, which me and Bob both agreed before the show started that was the right choice to make, and it was the right choice, which made Monday night a little curious for me, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But nonetheless, Liv Morgan, the most compelling character in the women's division for years now, did win the Royal Rumble, and she's heading to WrestleMania. Who's she going to face? I thought it was going to go one way. It apparently is not going that way, so I'm interested to see what ends up happening with that. Whatever it is definitely going to be a less compelling storyline than what could have been had Raquel actually won the title Monday night.
So, I mean, we'll get into that later. Yes, Liv Morgan definitely deserved it. The only other person that I would say would have deserved it would have probably been, Rhea Ripley, but I don't like Rhea's character right now. As you said, Monday night kind of screwed everything up. I don't really know what they're going to do next. I have a theory. We'll get to it. But as far as Liv winning, nobody should have a problem with that.
No. She's going to pick Austin Theory?
Yeah, that's my theory. Austin Theory.
Rhea's going to put on a mask. No, but I thought it was great for everything we said last week. Liv's been the biggest star. She's consistently one of the best parts of the show, especially on the women's side. Who she faces is a big question, but definitely think it was the right move.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we should talk about someone that they definitely were trying to make look like a star during this Royal Rumble, which was Lash Legend. I am very curious about this with you guys. Do you buy it? Do you buy Lash Legend? Because maybe it was me, but I've made jokes definitely about Lash Legend coming up to the main roster almost as like a gimmick. But the WWE very clearly believes in her because they did their darndest to make her look strong during this match.
I would rather have Lash Legend as their monster heel than Nia Jax. So if she's going to fill the role of Nia Jax, then yes, you're going to have to make her look big and strong when she first comes up. Because I do believe that's the role she's going to take over. And she'll be much better at it than Nia Jax ever will be. So yes, I'm okay as long as that's the role she has.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen her as much as you guys. I don't really watch a lot of NXT, but from what I've seen, she's done some cool moves in the moments that she's been out there. She definitely is noticeable as far as, the stuff that she does. I don't think she's going to be on this big heel push. I think it was good in setting the foundation for potentially getting her somewhere, but I suspect that she's going to be probably a part of some sort of multi-women tag team championship match with Nia. Maybe they split up closer to like SummerSlam, but I don't think there's not a spot for her to challenge for the title or even the secondary title. So I don't think this is the start of this huge deal.
Well, it felt like it was the start of a huge deal, but I guess we'll see. I don't buy it. Rob, you just said you think she's a better option to be a monster heel than Nia. Don't agree. I think she reminds me a lot of early Nia, and the Nia we have currently is much better.
Have we forgotten early Nia? Because I don't think anyone can be that bad.
I mean, we're on the same trajectory in terms of the way she lands moves that are potentially dangerous, to use a Greco-Roman style wrestling term. There's a lot of that. So, which was a lot of the criticism with Nia too. But I think what's very interesting about that, talking about Nia, is that while she is doing, I think she's wrestling much better than she was back then, she's also being much safer, and she's not. So she doesn't look as brutal, really, when she does her moves because she's doing them in a much safer way, and it's obvious. And in turn, I think we all agree, Nia now is much better than Nia 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said that when she came back last year or whatever it was. One, she looks like she lost a little bit of weight. Not saying she wasn't a big, beautiful woman before, and she is much safer. She's not trying to ragdoll people anymore. She's just using power moves,
Right.
which is always a lot better.
Right.
It's kind of tough because I don't think they have a lot of great women's wrestlers, but I don't see a lot of them be able to carry people through a match. And that is a challenge. I'm not really sure. You saw, Becky, who's one of the best, and those Maxine matches were pretty rough at times. I know Ram was pleasantly surprised at a couple of them, but
she exceeded my expectations. But when you're expecting an F, and you get a D+,
it's kind of tough.
I texted you guys in the middle of this match of, I don't think I remember this women's division having half as bad as people as they did. Like, half the women's division's pretty bad. So
yeah, the match itself was pretty bad.
Right.
I am gonna say that I did receive that text in the middle of the show, though you knew I wasn't watching it. So I was very like tuned in to your comment, and I was looking for this really bad wrestling. And I didn't see as much as you made it sound like there was. I thought 20 of those women in there were at least average wrestlers.
I will beg to differ, but
Okay, fair enough. I guess the only real surprise in this match was the return of Brie Bella, but we're going to save that for later, if you don't mind.
Which I predicted.
Hey, the crowd went absolutely. Honestly, I popped for Brie Bella. I prefer Brie to Nikki, and I have a hot take about this later, and we'll get to it. But
she showed off the id kicks too.
Yeah, she did. Absolutely. The next match here, gentlemen, was Gunther defeating AJ Styles and retiring the man in the middle of the ring. Fade to black, as Michael Cole said. It felt very sudden to me. Like, I was just kind of watching this match and taking it all in, and then it was just over. And like, it was almost like I didn't even get the feeling I felt like AJ Styles would deserve for a retirement. And I know there are some reports that perhaps this was just a WWE retirement and we would see AJ Styles pretty much go rover and just do whatever he wants for the rest of the year and finish out his career the way he wants to. But it felt very sudden to me, man. It just didn't feel like an absolute legend getting retired in the ring. Didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And I love Gunther. I am such a huge Gunther fan. I've said it over and over. Gunther is my favorite current wrestler. He has been for the last 4 or 5 years. I think he's fantastic. But this just didn't feel right to me. Something felt off about the way this ended.
I'm going to say this. I do agree. I think he's just going to do the indie thing that he did after New Japan, and he just went all around the indies and had some fun. But if this was his last match ever, it'd be such an AJ Styles way to go. He's been talking about how he didn't want a retirement tour, how he didn't want to do that. He didn't want people to know. He didn't want to do it at WrestleMania because everyone would know that'd be his last match. So if this was his last match, then this is the way he would want to go out. And I just got into wrestling again for The Undertaker losing his streak at WrestleMania 30. And I was like, oh, damn, I can't believe they did that. When the bell rang on this match, my heart sank. Like, it was one of those moments I sat there and I was like, there is no way this just happened. Because Ram's right. It felt so sudden. Like, I didn't think he was going to lose. I really didn't. But he did. And it was one of those raw emotion things that wrestling barely gives me anymore, probably like once a year. And it was that. I got the pit in my stomach and stuff like that. It was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. I predicted him to lose. So I actually went into it thinking he was going to lose, and it still just didn't feel right.
Right.
It definitely felt more like Edge's last match than it did John Cena's, which obviously gets your head going in different directions. I'm not sure. All AJ said is that this was it. So that's all we can take. Retirements in wrestling are worth as much as Monopoly money most of the time. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. But AJ, one of the best ever. 20 years ago, I was watching him on TNA, and he was one of the few reasons to watch TNA. It's been great watching him go to New Japan, win the title, go to WWE, which never seemed possible, and be the champion multiple times and have all those great matches. He had one more on Saturday. I hope it's not the end. I think there's a lot of cool stuff he could do, or in AEW if he's not going to wrestle in the WWE. Hell, there's fun stuff he could do in the WWE if they want to bring him back in a year or whatever. But whatever happens, it's his choice, and it's been a fun ride.
And that's the thing too. Like, we talked about John Cena's last run. John Cena couldn't wrestle anymore. Triple H was told that he can't wrestle anymore. So these guys, they all fall off the cliff and then say they're done, one last ride. AJ Styles was still phenomenal. And I think that's why we're all sitting here being like, oh, this ain't it. Because AJ Styles is still a top 10 performer in the world. And if this was it, he's going out still in the peak of his career.
Yeah. What's the typical non-compete? 90 days or 30
90.
days?
90.
So we're looking at, let's say, after WrestleMania, post-WrestleMania, if we do not see AJ Styles again, we will have an AJ Styles tribute. All right.
Yeah.
I think the test will be Wembley Stadium in August.
You mean we're going to have to wait till SummerSlam? Put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar. AJ Styles tribute episode post SummerSlam. Oh, post All Out. All Out.
All in. Yeah.
All in.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Post All In. I was like, yeah, it's SummerSlam. It's not a Wembley Stadium. That kind of hit me. I was like, oh, he means AEW. Got it. All right, gentlemen. The next match, Sami Zayn comes up short yet again against Drew McIntyre, who retains the WWE Championship. I mean, it literally felt like a carbon copy of every other time I saw Sami Zayn face Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, but a heel won without using heel tactics. He just won cleanly.
Sami Zayn.
I mean,
I know, but I love it.
A
heel can win without cheating. It's pretty cool.
He had to have booked this match just to piss me off individually. Like, he must listen to the show and just wanted to get one. I mean, what was the point of that? Sami just gets his ass kicked again.
Bob, Sami Zayn was in the Kevin Owens role. And every time Sami Zayn goes for a championship, you sit here and say the same thing. Sami Zayn is not going to win the championship.
I don't want Sami Zayn to win the championship, but why are we doing this? You didn't have
because you needed a feud before WrestleMania, and Sami Zayn's perfect for it, so that people like you could get more pissed off that Drew McIntyre is the champion.
Well, after Saturday, never put the championship on Sami Zayn.
Well, there is some reports that the early plans are for him to win it next year in Saudi Arabia.
So we were restarting. We're starting from square one again.
Every year, Sami's going to win the Royal Rumble. Those are the rumors.
Sami Zayn is the Buffalo Bills of the WWE. There's always next year.
In a year from now, I'm really going to be begging for Sami to win. 25th time against Drew McIntyre.
Definitely.
You know, when Sami wins the title, Bob's going to sit there and be like, I just don't feel it about Sami being the champion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. You know,
I'm going to take a vacation that week.
All right, gentlemen. It is kind of crazy that the match we have the least to talk about on this show is the WWE Championship match. It's probably the first and last time that's going to happen. So very interesting. The men's Royal Rumble. I have a lot more notes on this one we'll get to, but that was won by the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And I'll get into why this pisses me off a little bit later, but I think we should get into the meat and potatoes of the match, which started out with Obafemi at number 1, which was chef's kiss. You had to have him. I love the way he enters the ring, the way he comes down the ramp with that death stare and the march. It just fits so well, and it was a great way to start the Royal Rumble. I thought having him come out at number 1, especially considering he wasn't going to win, was a great decision.
Oh, yeah. No.
So, number 2, was Braun Breaker the least amount of time in this match? No one else got eliminated that quickly, right? Rusev was close, but not quite.
Yeah, Rusev made a 15-hour flight to work for 20 seconds.
In Rusev's defense, I didn't think Rusev was still on the roster, so I haven't seen him in a little bit.
I just don't understand why it's so hard to book that guy. It seems like it should be easy. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to go into it, but just seeing him sitting there against the guardrail, and like maybe it was for the show, kayfabe, but it looked very real. And it was reminiscent of the way he looked the last time he was in WWE before he showed up in AEW, where it was just like he looked so dejected. And it almost made me feel like they brought this man back just to bury his ass again, man. That's crazy.
Grass isn't always greener.
Well, it hasn't been green anywhere. I mean, it was pretty cool when he was the video game guy when he first started in AEW.
Yeah, he was the TNT champion.
I mean, he did drive a tank to WrestleMania at one point. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. That was his first loss and the first time I ever saw him. Brock Lesnar, gentlemen, was of course in this match. And I think bears in mentioning a few things that has to do with Brock Lesnar. Number one, he's the one who eliminated Obafemi. I think we all are kind of feeling like perhaps we're going to get Oba and Brock at WrestleMania. That would be tight. As long as Brock doesn't win. But another thing with Brock Lesnar, and this one kind of pissed me off, was the dude, and I get it, that Ilya Dragunov is a much smaller man than Brock Lesnar. But Brock no-sold these chops that have been chopping the shit out of everybody, no-sold them, picked him up like he was nothing, and just tossed him over the top rope. And that was like the thing in this match that pissed me off the most. More than Brock Lesnar himself getting eliminated while Jey Uso was yeeting. That was him just dispatching of Ilya Dragunov, the Mad Dragon, like he was a goddamn fly.
So I didn't mind him doing that to Ilya because Ilya's 5'0". So, but him no-selling the chops that everyone considers devastating. Yeah, that's like when Goldberg laughed at Gunther's chops. You just, come on. At least sell a little bit. At least get pissed off at him. Don't laugh at him. No, but yeah, the whole Brock Lesnar, first off, Brock Lesnar eliminating Oba. I hope it happens at WrestleMania. I don't know if it will. I don't know if Brock Lesnar wants to do that match. And then him being eliminated while Jey Uso, I hate the Jey Uso yeet at this point.
Literally can't believe we're still doing that.
As soon as that happened and they're like, oh, and Brock got eliminated during it, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I am totally out of this match at this point. Like, I just want to see it end. Like, this yeeting has to stop in the middle of these matches. Coming down with the entrance and stuff is cool. But are we serious right now? Like, he did it at War Games. He's doing it at the Rumble. I'm sure at WrestleMania he's going to get on top of a ladder during the Intercontinental title match or tag team match, whatever they're going to do, and just start yeeting and not grab the belt. Like, it's just annoying at this point.
The Dragunov thing, I get what you're saying, Rob, but so many times in this match, man, they did a number on some of these guys. It's part of the reason they're in the position they're in with new talent, because the only guy they did anything with was Oba. These new guys, I mean, Javon danced around a little bit. You bury Dragunov with Brock, and then you get Brock going, and he's fighting Oba. I'm getting into this match. At one point, I'm thinking Brock's going to win. I'm like, this guy's kicking ass. And then they eliminated him with the Jey Uso thing was ridiculous, and it was LA Knight and Cody who are getting nothing from that.
Right.
Cody's not going to go bragging that he beat Brock Lesnar. LA Knight clearly didn't. He didn't come on Raw and talk about it. It was just a nothing happening thing with, at the time, the guy that was the match. I did not understand that.
I feel like all your favorite young stars got eliminated by people that nobody was, but just old guys. Like, you talk about Dragunov and Lesnar. Now, maybe they do something with Oba. I don't know if they will. I really don't think they will. I just think that, Brock Lesnar eliminated him. Nobody will be mad about that. Cody eliminated Brock Lesnar. Nobody's going to be mad about that. I feel like they did eliminations not to set things up, but so nobody would bitch about who eliminated who.
You talk about why everyone in this company is in the same spot year over year and no one gets elevated to another level. It's because of a match like this where guys do not have the moments. I'm not talking they need to eliminate 25 guys, but giving a younger guy a moment here or there could have gone a long way to making people seem like bigger stars than they are.
And to your point, I mean, not only was Oba kind of eliminated, I mean, it was Brock, but he was eliminated pretty unceremoniously.
Right.
And those two came face to face multiple times and didn't do shit until Oba's back was turned, and then Brock gave him one German suplex.
Right.
But
He never had the better Brock.
We had guys I'm thinking about this. The one moment Trick Williams had in this match was when it was Trick, Javon Evans, and Oba Femi face to face, and then Trick Williams didn't do anything in this match and was just eliminated, like nothing. Like he was just like, "Oh, Trick Williams is out." I'm just like that.
Right.
And if you think to put an exclamation point on it, your final four was Gunther, Roman, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul. That was your final four. And this is like a thing every year that's like, who was in the final four of the Rumble? This is like, these are the guys they're going to push this year. Roman.
Do you realize
Gunther,
that Logan Paul and
Years.
Gunther have been in the final four for 3 straight years?
Yeah. And
crazy.
Ram, I mean, you hit it because I wasn't even thinking about Trick, but Javon eliminated nobody. He did, you could say he did cool stuff. It was pretty on par with what he usually does. He didn't have some crazy Kofi Kingston moment or something that people are going to remember. Trick did nothing. And, from talking about this, I'm now remembering Obo eliminated a lot of guys. But after the match, the last couple of days, what I remembered was the fact that he really didn't get the better of Brock Lesnar at any point, and he got eliminated by the guy.
All his eliminations were right in the beginning.
Yeah. I can actually, other than Braun Breaker, I can't tell you.
He eliminated the first 4. He eliminated Rusev. He eliminated.
That's right.
Cardona was the one who was in the match that he didn't eliminate before somebody else came in. But
he took care of the Americana.
Rey Mysterio.
But again, like to Bob's point, the Brock Lesnar, it was a stare down, and you're just like, yes. And then he missed a clothesline, got German suplex. I think he got one clothesline on Brock, and that was it.
Yeah.
Brock looked more impressive walking away from it than Open.
Right.
Yeah. You know who didn't look very impressive was the WWE's newest signee, Royce Keys. They really did a great job giving him a spotlight.
It was the right idea, wrong place.
I mean, I don't remember him actually doing anything. Honestly.
Well, he came out. I forget who he gave that spine buster to. He gave a spine buster to somebody that was like, yo.
Priest. Right?
Was it Priest?
Yeah.
And then he had the stare down with Cody, and then he got out of the ring very awkwardly. He did not take his clothesline properly. He turned away from it.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, entering in the Rumble should work, but I don't think Saudi. I don't even know if AEW's on.
Yeah, I don't know if Saudi even has AEW, though he's pretty close to home. It was a sellout of 6,000 fans, so he should be used to that with AEW.
The crowd did pop. The crowd popped when it said Powerhouse Hobbs up there. The crowd did pop, so I'll give him that. One thing. 2 things I skipped over, actually. Number 1 was Drew eliminating Cody Rhodes from the match, which I assume is setting up Cody winning the Elimination Chamber and facing Drew at WrestleMania. And Braun Breaker, before he even entered the match, was attacked by a new masked man. Any guesses?
I have a theory on who that is.
I'm going to say Omos. It's definitely Omos.
I think it's Logan Paul.
I think it's the obvious.
What's the obvious? Rollins?
Seth Rollins.
Because that was not Rollins in that outfit. No. Because let me tell you something, guys. Since it happened the first time, it's got to happen again. I paid very attention to the backside. I looked at the derriere. That was not Seth Rollins' derriere. I promise you that. I'm a man who knows butts, and that was not Seth Rollins' butt.
I think Heyman and Paul are turning on Breaker.
Paul Heyman? You think Paul Heyman's turning on Braun Breaker?
Is it going to be Braun Breaker?
That's what I think.
You said Heyman and Paul, and I got confused. I'm giving you shit.
My guess right now is it's going to be Breaker and Paul, and I think Breaker and Logan Paul, and Paul Heyman will be with Logan Paul. And I sort of think Adam Pearce is turning heel, and I think Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman are in cahoots. I think the stuff we see on Raw is them fakeade.
If we actually get a pairing of just Paul Heyman and Logan Paul. First of all, a lot of the things that Paul Heyman normally says to get guys over aren't going to really work with Logan Paul. So I'm very interested to see what glowing things he has to say about Logan Paul when he cuts his promos. But that feels like a world title that we fucking hate for all the right reasons.
I say this every time someone says he sucks on social media. Logan Paul is good at what he does. And I know everyone sits there, oh, he is no longer a part-timer. He's on every week in, week out, and he's entertaining. You want to listen to him talk. You want to listen to him do his dorky jerk stuff. I wasn't a fan when he first came in. I believe in him now, and his matches are still really good. Logan Paul can be a heel champion.
To your point, and I did say some things about his matches not too long ago that they were overrated. And I stand by that. But I think that since he became full-time, it bears in mention, I feel like he just fits in as a pro wrestler. And, you know, we say a lot of the same things about Trick Williams, really, where he just like has like an insane amount of charisma that makes up for the limitations that he has in the ring. And I think Logan Paul is that multiplied because he's already this like uber popular, like people who don't watch wrestling at all know all about Logan Paul just because of who he was before he was ever even a wrestler. So like he has this star power and this charisma that you cannot teach.
No, he gets it.
Yeah, I remember growing up, everyone would always tell me, because I was taller than everybody growing up, you can't teach what you have, and that's height. Well, Logan Paul has something you can't teach, which is the charisma he has and the star power he had before he was a wrestler. I think he's doing a great job.
Even when the cameras aren't bright and stuff like that, like there's a clip going around where he's making fun of green shirt guy because he couldn't afford the hard camera seats. Just things like that. Like the man gets it. He gets what he is.
He absolutely does.
Yeah, and you have to be competent enough in the ring, obviously. And I think his matches are where the other stuff makes up for it. And, he's so good at the character and the persona that I think it makes up for it. Obviously, being a better wrestler is always better than being a worse one. But when you do the other stuff really well, like you said, a Trick, Logan Paul, some other people, it makes up for some of the shortcomings.
And I'm not saying he's bad by any means. He's not bad.
He's just not at the top level that we're seeing, which is 4 to 5 star matches, consistently.
I mean, he's better than Damian Priest, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, guys, that's it for the Royal Rumble. Let's talk about some Monday Night Raw stuff. I have 3 notes I think are worth taking up AEW's time on our programming. Number 1 was Obafemi finally showing up on Monday Night Raw. I found it very interesting, especially considering the current standing of the tag team division in WWE. For him to come and pretty much squash the shit out of the War Raiders, who are a tag team unlike any other tag team you have. And it felt to me like a burial. This is something that we see them do with enhancement talent or like, Akira Tozawa and Otis and shit like that. But the War Raiders, and I have talked glowingly about how much I love Obafemi and how excited I am for Obafemi. And it definitely, if you're going to make him look strong, but I think beyond making him look strong, it made the War Raiders look like a couple of baby back bitches.
So, to our longtime listeners, you know that I've been comparing Obafemi to Brock Lesnar a lot. And in 2002, you know how Brock Lesnar made his debut? By dismantling the Hardy Boys. And I think the Hardy Boys turned out all right, personally. But he destroyed them on his first night. So I think they went that route. Now, to your point, the tag division. Who is the tag champions?
The
The Usos. And they're facing Tozawa and Otis next week. So
maybe Jimmy hasn't been on the show in a month.
Right.
true.
So I mean,
I wonder
maybe
if
he's in
Naomi
rehab
dropped.
again. But
did Naomi have the kid?
Oh, it's about that time.
It would be about that time.
It would be about that time.
It is
September,
Well, if she
October,
was-
November, December, January, depending
No,
on how
maybe
far
not.
along she was.
Maybe not. That was post SummerSlam, right?
It was like 2 weeks after SummerSlam. So yeah, she's got a little bit more to go.
Yeah, she
But
does.
I mean, it's not like the tag division has. And again, before the Usos had it, it was a team of Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. So it's not like the tag division has been rip roaring hot.
Right. All the more reason
what
to
Dragon Lee did on Monday.
all the more
Dude.
reason to build up a team. All the more reason to not do
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if Ram's gonna get to it or not, but the Dragon Lee hanging thing, he sold that perfectly. I literally thought he was gonna die.
I don't have a
Yeah,
note on it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean Rob is right about the build to Brock Lesnar. I thought it was a little weird. I don't think the tag team division right now can afford to bury a team like that. But I guess you could say they didn't lose a match to him, but that might be what's happening on Monday. So
They're
I
going
don't
to have
know.
a sanction 2-on-1.
You know, it
So-
seems like I guess it's the time of year where if you're not at the top, you're going to the bottom.
I'm also not gonna lie. When he first came out and they said it was a tag team match, I thought they were gonna put him with like Javon Evans or Trick Williams or something like that. And I was like, God, don't put him in a tag team right now.
Well, it
Like,
was
Well,
actually
that's
like
what
the
made it
War
weird
Raiders-
too. They did it tag. They said it was a tag team match. Then
No.
Corey Graves said this wasn't on the
Right.
card. And
so
they
did
checked
Oma
their
just like
ass.
walk out there and everyone's like, all right, just let him go?
Yeah, because Cole was even like, Oba Femi?
Yeah.
Like, the hell? Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Speaking of the tag team division, the Bellas are back together. This is very interesting because I've hated on the fact that Nikki Bella was back. I don't really see why we need the Bellas, but during the Royal Rumble, Nikki's in the ring. Brie comes out and the crowd's going crazy. Yes, 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 yes. And I was like, you know what? I think that the Bellas actually are a good addition to the women's tag team division. Hand up. Hand up. I'm glad that Brie came back and the Bellas are going to be at, because guess what, gentlemen? Unlike many of the women's tag teams that we're getting, this is actually a tag team. Someone we can put the belts on and get these main event players like Rhea and Io out of that division. I think, personally, as much as I've hated on Nikki being back, as much as I was kind of like, you know, do we really need Brie Bella also? As I'm watching it, I'm like, you know what? I think it's a good addition to the tag team division. Let's not talk about their promo on Monday Night Raw. Let's not talk about that because that was shit. But I think this is a great addition to the women's tag team division. How do you guys feel about that take?
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way about the Bellas that I feel about Christian and Cope together. If they're going to be on the show, they're going to be a tag team. Hopefully it breaks up these main event players being all over the tag team division, which will help boost the world titles. I do have to make one point. I just can't help myself about the promo. What was Nikki Bella possibly thinking when she made that Eagles comment?
Well, I
Well,
think
they
that
were saying
everybody-
Coop.
I understand what they were
knows.
saying.
I think they were saying Coop, and she thought they were booing.
Right.
That's what I think.
Like,
Why would
she
you
thought
say
they were
anything?
booing.
No, I get that,
And then
but
she
why
just
would
went
you
into
say?
like, I think she went into like defense mode, and then she was
Well-
kind of like, yeah, I have good taste or whatever the hell she said.
Yeah, I
She
didn't
said
think it was
something
that bad what she said because she had to save herself from
She
looking
said,
like a
like,
complete fool.
Are you doing that about me or the Eagles? I think
Right.
She
that's what
said they start chanting Coop, and then she goes, "Are you booing the fact the Eagles aren't in the Super Bowl?" And I'm like, That's a heel line. Meanwhile, they are making us forget that like 3 weeks ago she was a heel.
That's what I was saying.
But
I thought she was.
I was like, what could you possibly think of for a veteran to then go heel like that?
I think she was going to give him sympathy if they were booing for that. But once she realized Coop, she had a save face. And that was the only thing she could think of on the fly. So.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the worst kept secret in wrestling. It's finally out of the bag. Cooper Tashine.
He's a Pro Bowler.
Banging Nikki Bella.
He likes moms, I guess.
Hey, there is a 22-year-old me right now that is very jealous of Cooper Tashine. Oh, my gosh. All right. That's about it for that. I think if we're going to have the Bellas at all, having them together in the tag team division is the best case scenario.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
And I prefer Brie. So welcome back, Brie mode. All right.
I don't like the song though.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they change it. Which, by the way, Stephanie Vaquera got new music, and I feel like she just got that music.
Don't know why they did that either.
Okay. The promo heard round the world: Roman Reigns and CM Punk. A lot of things were said during this promo, and a lot of things that some people liked and some people didn't like so much. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I think that starting with Roman Reigns announcing he would be in the Royal Rumble on Pat McAfee show, right? It was Pat McAfee. Mm-hmm. And not on television or anything else wrestling related. And what he said on that show, which was essentially burying the creative department of WWE. Pretty much just, they suck. They're not doing shit. They have no idea what they're doing. They can't make new stars. They're bad. Then he shows up and he wins the Royal Rumble. And I told you guys last week when you both predicted Roman Reigns would win the Royal Rumble, I thought it was a bad decision because he's not on the show, hasn't been on the show, and a lot of other people deserve it. And it's a lot of the same conversation that have been had over the years with The Rock and Brock Lesnar. And we pissed all over that shit all the time. And now Roman Reigns is here and everybody's like, it's like they forget that he's not on the show. And I sent the gift to you guys the other day about the member berries because that's literally all it is, because Roman's just showing up and we have these member berries of this great time in wrestling. And we're just like, yeah, one's to the sky. Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. I was not a fan of what he said on Pat McAfee. I was not a fan of a lot of the things he said during this promo because point blank period, Roman, if you're the leader here, if that's what you are, and you're burying the creative department because they can't make new stars, how fucking dare you come onto the show and bury the other guys? How fucking dare you bury Drew McIntyre and the WWE Championship? How fucking dare you, bro? You want to talk about making new stars? You want to help the product? How about not coming onto the show once in 3 months and burying the other side of the programming? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That pissed me off. A lot of the other things about how his family is the only reason that the WWE is where it's at today, also bullshit. I just couldn't get behind a lot of this. And I know that this promo was like a big talking point. It got people pumped. It got them excited. But the only thing that got me excited about this promo was when he said, I could choose you because you're the biggest star. I could choose you because you're on the biggest show. You're on Netflix. But I'm choosing you because I hate you. I felt that. The only problem I have with it now is that WWE has spent the last 9 months, I've seen these guys interact, and I didn't sense hatred. I saw them getting along. I saw them teaming up. I saw them pound. I saw them give each other pounds. At no point did I think these two absolutely hate each other. So when Roman's in the ring and he says that, I don't feel it. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. And now what we're going to get, because it's Roman Reigns and he chooses his schedule, is we're probably not going to see Roman until mid-March. And this is the time where you should be convincing me that you genuinely hate each other, so that I am super excited for this match. I said to you guys earlier in text that this is the marquee match. This is the biggest match I can possibly do at this point, because we've seen Cody and Roman numerous times. So I get that. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. You can't tell me I'm choosing you because I hate you after I saw you guys be buddy-buddy several times in the last calendar year. So I don't know how I feel about this. I was bothered by the fact that Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. I was bothered by a lot of things in the Royal Rumble. I was bothered by a lot of things that he said during this promo. And now I'm bothered because I don't feel like he's going to be on the show for at least the next 6 weeks. And if we don't see him until April, because it's a little later, right, this year?
It's April 20th.
That's what I thought. If we don't see him until April, I won't be surprised.
So, I did a TikTok today. Follow us. We are Marks on TikTok, and I cut up this promo and things like that, and I actually went through the clips that he was talking about how he. I will say this one. You didn't have to bury Drew McIntyre in SmackDown. Out of everything that he said, I thought that was the biggest shit. CM Punk did it too. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I don't know if writers have any say in what these two do. They might go out there carte blanche and say, we're saying whatever we want. But somebody needs to get in their ear and be like, yo, that you literally buried a title that was more significant than the world heavyweight title up until 2 weeks ago. Like, that was the title up until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
it felt disrespectful to Finn Balor.
And that's the thing. Like, they basically disrespected everybody. You're right. The ending of that is what made me go, I want this match. Everything before that was just kind of nonsense. Like, bringing up things from 10 years ago. We know he was gone for 10 years. Bringing up, his family running the WWE, and then CM Punk being like, you're not here. Like, we all know that.
It's the same
my
shit.
biggest thing, right? My biggest thing is you buried, and you didn't even just bury him. It wasn't even like one line. It was 5 minutes of basically saying Drew McIntyre sucks. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Well, I think Drew's got to answer the bell. I think him and probably Cody need to answer the bell. I thought the promo itself was probably the best promo I've ever seen Roman Reigns cut. I think he built the match. That's the biggest match they can do. I don't think the match does anything for... Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't do anything for the company, but I thought the promo did everything for Punk and Roman, and I didn't think it helped anybody else. So as far as the team aspect, it certainly wasn't that, but they weren't looking out for anybody but themselves on Monday. And
Bob, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you take away, it was like a 10-minute promo. If you take away about 8.5 minutes of that and just have the final saying of Roman Reigns, would it have done the same thing as what you're saying? Because I agree with Ram. I sat there and I was like, as soon as it was happening, I was like, this is awful. But that last couple of lines is what sold me on it. So for a 10-minute conversation, 1.5 minutes of it is what really mattered.
And the other 8.5 minutes was just shitting on everybody else.
Everyone else. It was only about those two. That's it.
Well, I thought the podcast line was a good line. That was a reality line. So I don't know I forget what part of the...
But again, that was in the last 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, and also we've heard it before.
Right.
We've heard it so many times.
Well, we've heard the 10 years, but this was different. This was direct, and this had a level of reality. This wasn't... I did not like the bitching about Punk leaving. And I thought some of the vacation stuff and all that was bad. I did think him saying, you made my life more difficult, was a great line. Whether it was as good as the reason I want to face you is because I hate you, whatever. But I thought those were the two best things Roman Reigns said, and it tied storyline with reality, which I thought made it great.
I'm you said this to us in sometime in the last week, and I was gonna respond, but I figured, you know what, I'll save it for the podcast. Can you explain that to me? How did CM Punk make Roman Reigns' job more difficult?
By telling the story that when he wanted to face them when he was going to face them in the 3-on-1 handicap match back in Extreme Rules, whatever it was, that everyone in the company told him to make Roman look strong, make Roman look strong, make Roman look strong. Punk telling that story did lead to a fan backlash that Roman Reigns is being forced down our throat, which did lead to the boos after he won. Punk's telling that story on the podcast, I guarantee you, made people dislike Roman Reigns because he was the chosen.
Okay, so I just want to put this in my perspective, because the start of them jamming Roman Reigns down our throat was about when I started watching wrestling again. I never heard the podcast. Still to this day, I've never heard it. I don't know what was said on that podcast. Don't particularly give a shit.
So
I hated Roman Reigns. I hated
whether or not you listened to the podcast.
He was being shoved up my ass, and I hated it.
There were two direct Roman Reigns points on the podcast that made people not like Roman Reigns as much. One was the fact that CM Punk said he did make the Shield. He did not choose Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was forced by the company to be in the Shield. He wanted it to be Chris Hero, which if people that like Chris Hero, then all of a sudden didn't like Roman Reigns. Then he made the point about everyone telling him Roman needs to look strong, Roman needs to look strong, Roman needs to look strong, which was around the time of Roman winning the Rumble, which got the huge backlash because they wanted it to be, Danielson and things like that. So that did make an impact.
So just so that I'm clear on what you're saying is that if CM Punk didn't say this on the podcast, people would have felt differently?
I think there was certainly a group. I cannot say it was everyone. I think some people that watched the show, Roman Reigns didn't resonate them, but I do feel like there was a strong feeling that this guy is being forced down our throat, which was accelerated
because he was.
And it was accelerated with a guy like Punk, who at the time, anything CM Punk said, because he was the guy who quit and he was the guy that everyone wanted to hear from. He was off social media. So the fact that that was the one thing Punk said made it a huge deal because we never heard from Punk.
So I am going to say this. That was right after WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 31 was the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns first main event. But in 2018, when we went to Backlash, it was who was still being shoved down our throats and we were still sick of it? Roman Reigns. So even if CM Punk didn't say those things, we would have been sick of it. We're talking about 3 years of that.
Until he came back as the tribal chief in 2021, we hated Roman Reigns because he was being shoved up our ass. He couldn't cut a promo. He was a smiling baby face who mumbled his words, and he was being shoved up our ass. So we hated Roman Reigns. And I didn't know CM Punk said anything about Roman Reigns.
I'm not saying that there were not other factors. I'm just saying that there is a level of what CM Punk said that did get the bad taste, the first impression bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and then it was a snowball effect, in my opinion, on Roman Reigns.
I think it started when he started saying, "Believe that."
And again, it didn't help. Honest to God, I agree with Bob. It didn't help, but we would have been sick of him regardless.
Sure.
But it was a good thing to bring up. But again, that happened. I would say the last 2 minutes of that promo is the only thing that mattered. The rest is basically trying to make everyone else look bad, that they're the only two people that matter.
Yeah. And MJF brought up that podcast many times.
And I do want to say, I said it earlier talking about the Rumble, and, I am completely agree. I think this is a huge match. I hope as a fan of the product that Roman Reigns does not win. I do not want going back to a part-time champion, but I do feel that the reason they're in this position where you got to call back Roman Reigns, some of it's by choice, some of it's the fact that they have failed to to make new talent that can be at this level. Everyone we've talked about over the last year, it was give them a shot, see if they can sink or swim. They have not put anybody in this position that they can do that, and you're 100% sure. So I understand why they chose Roman Reigns in this spot, but I think it's a failure of not putting the rocket on somebody. They had the opportunity with Braun Breaker, and they've taken 3-step back.
To their point, I mean, and Ram has said this, that he wanted Braun Breaker to be the main event at WrestleMania until he faced CM Punk on Netflix and he realized he wasn't ready. The only two people that I could imagine them doing that with would have been Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu. And I think if Seth Rollins doesn't get hurt, it'd be Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. And I'm pretty sure Jacob Fatu still might win the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
so
I do think that's going to be a triple threat.
Right. So I do think.
Oh, actually,
but
I was thinking about this in the car. I actually, and we're skipping ahead a little bit, but I have a feeling that Fatu is going to win the Elimination Chamber, but Drew is going to screw Cody, which is going to make Nick Aldis add him to the match. That's what I think is going to happen. Anyway, go ahead, Rob. What were you saying? You forget.
Stars. They could have made 2 new stars at WrestleMania if injuries didn't happen.
Yeah,
I agree.
Unfortunately,
think
injuries are a massive part.
Yeah,
right.
There's still chances though. They still could have done something to get guys to be in better spots.
Who would you, other than LA Knight, which I don't even think LA Knight is world champion material.
LA Knight
who else would be in this role? What?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, just and it 100% is the booking thing, and you know, I'm not saying that what Roman said on the McAfee wasn't factual, but I am saying that as a leader, you know, imagine Pat Mahomes getting on an interview and saying, yeah, you know, the offensive coordinator really just calls a bad game, and so they just pretty much need me to carry the team on my shoulders because, you know, they don't really know what they're doing. That's insane. That is not helping anybody when you're talking about, and they are individuals, I understand that, but they work for a company. They work for a company that is very marketable and while not in direct competition with any other company per se, there is competition out there, if you want to call it that. And so, I mean, just to me, it feels like I don't give a shit about anybody else as long as I'm getting mine. And I just don't like that attitude. I don't like that attitude.
If Cody Rhodes is QB1, then Roman Reigns is the diva wide receiver.
Yes, there it is. That's on me. That's on me. Roman's the diva wide receiver. All right, guys, we're running really long, and we do have some AEW stuff we have to talk about. So I'll stop bitching about Roman Reigns and let it play out. That's what we got to do.
There you go.
All right, gentlemen. Tommaso Ciampa is all elite. Man, Rob, I remember you asking us towards the end of last year, like guys we wanted to see go over to the other company, and I didn't think about Ciampa at all, probably because he's 40. I never really thought about it. And then he debuts, and the music is perfect. The presentation is perfect. And I was like, you know what? Tommaso Ciampa is a perfect guy to go over to AEW. What a great get. Honestly, a great get for AEW. Do I think he's going to be a world champion in AEW? You know, not per se, but I think he is a perfect guy to be the TNT champion for sure. I am psyched up about Tommaso Ciampa right now.
So I'm not going to lie. As soon as they make the My Shadow Knows My Story shirt, I'm buying that. That is such a great line. Oh my God. As soon as I heard that, I was like, yo, the Titantron, everything. I was so pumped to see him wrestle that guy.
Mark Briscoe.
Wow.
Mark
Thank
Briscoe.
you. I was going to say Jay Briscoe, but it's
not him.
But yeah, no, I was stoked to see Ciampa. He looked stoked. He looked like he had fire again. And the match was pretty good.
Yeah. I was going to say Jerry Briscoe.
He's dead as well. But yeah, no.
He's not
Great
dead, is he?
Gerald Briscoe? I believe he's dead.
I have
No, he
idea.
does a podcast with JBL.
Does he really?
Yeah, not from
That's
Beyond
gotta
the
put
Grave.
butts in
He's
seats, huh?
on.
Beyond the grave. 6 feet under.
That's
What
the
we're talking about?
Undertaker.
Tommaso Ciampa, TNT champion. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. It was a perfect get for AEW. He's one of those guys that, we've said it about guys all the time, that you forget how good they are because of what they're doing. And him, DIY kind of was doing some goofy stuff near the end. Working with the Miz, doing that stuff with the Miz and all that. You forget, 8 years ago, him in NXT was phenomenal.
So
and
good.
hopefully, whether it's with the TNT title or who knows if he gets a shot with the AEW World title, I said it to you guys offline that maybe he could even fit that kind of Samoa Joe role of he's not the guy, but when you need a heel to go a couple months to lead to the big babyface win, I think Ciampa could fit that role. And he's younger, he's not young, but as far as some of the guys wrestling right now, 40 years old, I mean, he's probably got 5-10 years left. I think he could fit that role. Good matches and good character.
Oh, I am such a big fan, and I'm so happy that he's in AEW. And as much as I love DIY, Tommaso can do so much more than being a tag team.
So Ram, now that he's the TNT champion, and that's usually defended on Collision, you gonna watch more Collision?
I will check to see what happened on Collision, and if he had a match, I'll watch it. The only thing, I'll say that did make me watch Collision for a second week in a row. I will say,
much better show, right?
It was not too much.
I will say
better,
on the TNT title front, because I was I was happy with AEW last week. I did not like Kyle Fletcher coming out. I know they were teasing out with Briscoe, but I just wish elevate Kyle Fletcher from the TNT title. He had it. I don't need to see him go back to either becoming the champion or being in a TNT title feud. But
Kyle Fletcher needs to get away from the Don Callis family first.
Well, and this kind of leads me into my next bullet point here, which is Andrade, who looks great. I'm going to be honest. Andrade looks phenomenal. The physique looks phenomenal. He looks great in the ring. That match with Swerve was incredible. But how the hell did he become in the number one contender picture? And Kyle Fletcher is doing this because Andrade's had 3 matches.
Well, I mean, he's a new face, so.
I was not expecting it when Don Callis came out and said your undefeated streak since you came back was over, Swerve. I laughed in my head thinking Andrade was going to lose. But you know what? I love Kenny Omega. He's my favorite AEW wrestler. I hope that Andrade wins tonight. I thought it was great. I think the crowd's behind him. He's a good wrestler. He's someone new. I hope Andrade wins the whole thing. I hope he faces Max at the pay-per-view. It's a brand new match, and the gimmick is getting over. He's finding these hot chicks and taking pictures with them and taking off his pants. And you know what? Goddamn, it's something different. And people are resonating with it. And we talk about new stars. Here's an opportunity to take a guy like Andrade, who's been in the mid-card, have him beat Swerve, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page in the matter of 3 weeks. And all of a sudden, that guy could possibly be in a long-term main event picture because of that run. So I hope he wins tonight. Kenny can get back into it when they go to Canada. He'll be fine. Hangman's doing whatever he's doing. These guys are fine. Get Andrade up to the next level.
And I mean, we just talked about how WWE hasn't been able to elevate new stars because they just keep burying them with old stars. AEW has a chance to do something different than that. I agree with Bob. Nobody thinks Andrade is going to win, but nobody thinks MJF's losing the title right now. He just won it. What is it? Revolution or Forbidden Door in February? One of them?
It's Revolution in March, yeah.
Revolution's in March. Isn't Forbidden Door before that?
There's 2 pay-per-views before All In. There's March and then April, I think, and then it's 4 months and then All In. That's at least when I looked at the pay-per-view schedule, unless something was missing.
So, but they have a chance to elevate somebody. He's not new, but he's new to them, and you can put him in a main event scene right away. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I don't hear what I'm not saying. When he was announced as one of the 4 possible number 1 contenders, and I saw he was facing Swerve, I was like, well, he should win, and then he should be Kenny Omega. I'm totally with you. I'm just thinking, like, logistically, in terms of the company, how did we get there? How did he just pass over Kyle Fletcher?
Well, somebody from the Don Callis family has to be in it, since, he owns all the heels.
So logically,
So maybe Don Callis just picked Andrade, which, honest to God,
he hates Kyle Fletcher.
would be a story that if AEW was good, Kyle Fletcher would be like, hey, how comes you gave it to Andrade and not me? And he could be like, well, Okada said to give it to Andrade.
This is great because this is leading right into my last AEW bullet point. This is great.
I think they were probably all sitting in the office. Don Callis was deciding which one to pick. Andrade took off his pants, and he was like, that's my guy.
Yeah, they measured dicks.
No, Andrade probably went to Tony Khan and said, hey, if you don't give me a title shot, I'm leaving again. And Tony's like, damn it. All right.
Well, I don't think he can get back over the bridge this time. Yeah. I'm not sure, though. So anyway, guys, we finally got a little bit of movement in the Kyle Fletcher, Okada, and Takeshita storyline. Because Okada came and he said sorry to Kyle Fletcher, and he forgave him. And then Takeshita said, you really forgive him? And then Kyle Fletcher said, talk, look. And then Takeshita shook his head and he walked away. That is the movement that we have now 4 weeks after that pay-per-view.
Ram, do you not know what a slow burn is?
It's been slow burning for well over a year.
No, I agree with you. Honest to God, I agree with you. But I'm glad we got something out of it other than Takeshita just standing there looking all Takeshita like, So it's something. As Bob said, Revolution's not till March. We have 3 months before they're probably going to do anything with this whatsoever.
It's February, bro. March is next month.
Happy early birthday, by the way. What is it in March? It's like March 20th, though, ain't it?
Second or third week, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
See?
So
we still got a month and a half.
The month of no Okada, that was ridiculous. There's
I agree. That was bad.
There's a way to communicate with people even when they're in Japan. I don't know why he had to be completely off the show, but I did like this segment. I thought it was good that they didn't do a swerve. Like a lot of times you do something like this and then the camera cuts to Okada and he says bitch, and I think the fans kind of were expecting that and they didn't do it. It was a seemingly wholesome for the moment forgiveness from Fletcher to Okada.
Yeah.
Did you not like the segment, or you just wish it happened 3 months ago? Or a month ago?
I think it's tough because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita are idiots for even still being associated with Don. Just Takeshita is the one who's really been wronged. Like Kyle Fletcher didn't necessarily get wronged by anybody, but Takeshita definitely did. So he shouldn't forgive Okada, obviously, but in my opinion, he shouldn't be associated with it at all already. We shouldn't still be slow burning that because I said it during the pay-per-view. I mean, Takeshita was flat out screwed by Okada, and Don Callis went up the ring and raised Okada's hand while Takeshita's in the ring.
What if Takeshita's waiting for Okada to finally defend that title that he's had for a year that he's never defended?
Dude, when he showed up and had a title, I was like, what title does he have? I thought he lost.
Well, they're no longer unified, so...
Yeah. So there's a whole nother title we haven't even made reference to in a long time. So,
yeah.
A lot of that stuff about AEW that pisses me off is continuing to piss me off, but some things happen that make me excited, like Tommaso Ciampa and Andrade. I like when he takes off his pants. You know,
Jesus Christ.
didn't actually one of his cousins that was his gimmick in NXT because his cousins are the
Escobar, right?
no. Well, he's one, but Angel
Right.
and
Angel Garza and Hector Garcia.
Yeah. Angel Garza is the one that did it. I think he would take off his pants and the women would go crazy in NXT.
I completely forgot about that, but yeah, you're right. He'd go down to his Speedo and yeah.
He's pretty much doing that gimmick, which is cool. I don't mind. It's fine.
He's taking it to the next level.
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, he straight up put his number in some chick's phone. I mean, she was not a plant. Promise. She was not a plant.
That's
they
great
can't
gimmick.
afford plants.
She was a plant.
They can't afford plants, guys.
Okay, guys, here we go. We had two swapperoos. Who won this trade? Tommaso Ciampa for Royce Keys or Powerhouse Hobbs, whatever you want to call him.
So Royce Keys, I'm going to be Mel Kiper here. And, well, that's the draft. Chris Barnwell, that's who does it. I'm going to give the Chris Barnwell grades. Tommaso Ciampa gets a B+ for AEW. And Royce Keys gets an incomplete for right now. But if we're just going on what he's done already, it's a D+.
Well, I'm not saying what they did. I'm saying the potential they have in their respective new homes.
Potential?
And I don't mean the potential of the man. I mean the potential of the booking.
See, I think this is Tommaso Ciampa's booking. I agree with you. I think he's a great TNT champion. And to Bob's point, if they need a heel to go for a title, not win the title, but just have a program for a month or two, he's perfect for that. I really do think Royce Keys, if they use him correctly, could be that heel champion that the baby faces go after.
Well,
I don't know.
Here's my actual question in an indirect way. This is what I was asking. Do you actually believe that the WWE would book him that way?
No.
I don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
He's a great guy for Brock Lesnar to end in 8 seconds.
Yeah, I think Ciampa's going to do a lot more in AEW than Royce Keys does in WWE. There's a chance, but I just don't feel like it's going to go well. Not full-fledged Rusev level, maybe, but I just don't see him jumping to the top.
So my problem with Royce Keys, and I really do think he should join the New Day because I think he'd be that great powerhouse for them, pun intended, is that I just feel like he's a knockoff Obafemi. And they have Obafemi. You know?
Did you say that because he's black?
No, I say that because he looks exactly like him and he has the same moveset as him, but he's just not as good as him.
It's kind of funny because I was trying to think of like what his ceiling could be, and all that would come to my mind was Booker T. And I was like, is that because he's black?
I don't know. This
Booker T's that's not a bad ceiling though. Booker T, I mean, minus the whole racial thing with Triple H and him losing WrestleMania, Booker T didn't have a bad career.
That's what I'm saying. I think that is his ceiling. That's what he could do. I just don't believe that they are actually going to.
No, I don't think they are either.
I don't think I sort of disagree with the Booker T. Booker T was so much better on the mic than Hobbs is, I feel like, and that was a huge part of it. I see his ceiling as more of
okay. And I'm gonna say this: Booker T got better on the mic. There was a reason Sherry Montel was with him in WCW for the beginning of his career.
Yeah, and
because
I mean for Booker,
we're coming for you.
Yeah, I mean when Booker T actually became a main eventer, it was when he became the king. So I mean it did take a while, but I don't know. It depends, but I think the worst thing for him, I hope, don't send him to NXT. I don't think he would have
debuted in the Royal Rumble and then gone to NXT.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think he's going to be.
And putting them on NXT to me just does a number to them. I think their star power is dropped going to NXT.
by the way, Joe Hendry, NXT champion. I would like to see him with the New Day to learn the ropes, get some charisma. He could do his, because he's good at the one-liners and stuff like that. He could do that with the New Day. Have Kofi and Xavier carry him through promos and stuff like that until he gets better at them. He can learn on the job.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I know this has happened before in AEW, but I wouldn't mind seeing him paired up with Jericho. I think Jericho, if he comes back, whatever they decide to do with him, that would be the type of pairing. I think Jericho, working with Jericho might help.
I really don't think Jericho's coming back. Jericho's
he
booked
might be on Dynamite right now.
I mean, Jericho's booked on a tour in May. I don't think Jericho's coming back.
I saw something that Jericho's contract really didn't end at the end of the year, and he had a 90-day clause from AEW, so no one can really tell. I don't know how this stuff comes up after the fact.
You trying to tell me Uncle Dave's making shit up again? No way.
I didn't hear it. No, it was, I thought somebody at Fightful or something.
Well, Uncle Dave's the one that said his contract ends in January, so.
Yeah, I don't know. But you're right. Fozzie's.
Yeah, Fozzie, beginning of May, Fozzie's going on tour.
Maybe that's the next We Are Mark's destination. Check out a Fozzie concert.
They're actually coming with somebody I wouldn't mind seeing. I forget who, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm a Mark.
All right, Mark. Well, listen, we had a lot to talk about this week, and I feel like we got most of it off our chest, specifically me. And we're going to have to see where these storylines progress. AEW, WWE, the road to WrestleMania, the long-ass road to All In. And until then,
favorite, we are Marks.